We look forward to this. Our pal is Joe Maddon. There's your first half leaders. We got a lot to do with Joe. Football country, of course. Joe Namath and Joe Maddon, hand in hand. Joe was a quarterback, I believe, in high school. And there he is, my pal. And he says,
hey, brother,
hello,
how you
Mr.
doing?
Maddon, it's a pleasure. It's great to doing well. We got a lot to do with the baseball, and I'm going to shut up after I ask you the questions. I want you to shine here.
Okay.
Number one, Ohtani, you know the owner. I would be shocked if he trades him. I don't know if he's going to stay. I don't think he's going to stay there, but I also don't think the Angels, even though they're out of it right now, are going to trade him in 3 weeks. Let me get your thoughts on that first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you. That's probably true. However, with Mikey being injured right now, that might force their hand a little bit if they feel that they're really going to fall totally out of contention. I mean, after all, I mean, if they don't trade him and we get to the conclusion, and of course he goes somewhere else, I mean, that's really a bad strategy also. So they're going to have to really continue to think about this. If they play well over the next couple of weeks, it might be easier to not trade him. But overall, I mean, if the guy's just going to walk next year and get nothing in return for it, that's a difficult thought. It really is. It's not optimal.
Now, I agree with that, Joe, but boy, oh boy, you want to be the owner who pulls the trigger in late July, early August on trading Ohtani? I mean, it's one thing if he leaves after you offer him $500 million, but to trade him with 2 months to go, how much are you going to get back anyway? That's why I think at the end of the day, push comes to shove, Artie will keep. And you generally agree with that?
Generally, yeah, but you have to figure out or find out who's willing to trade with you and find out what that package looks like. I mean, they have an opportunity to get, pretty good over the next couple of years. I like a lot of the young players they have already. It's all about pitching regardless, and I know you're trading a great hitter and pitcher with Shohei, potentially. But overall, man, to get nothing and just let him go somewhere else, maybe a draft pick, whatever that may be, that's hard. It's a difficult decision. I don't disagree. It goes back to the Yankees trading Babe Ruth. People are going to bring up that comparison, absolutely. But however, you got to do what's best for your organization. What's the Angels going to look like next year and the year after that? Are you trying to win the World Series, or are you just trying to ameliorate a fan base? You got to figure that part of it out.
Yeah, very tricky. All right, let's talk about your road team, Tampa. They're not playing well right now. They had a big enough cushion, but they have played pretty poorly the last 3-4 weeks. Their bullpen, they kind of wear out a little bit. They've had some pitchers injured, which is another issue. McClanahan, Rasmussen, the whole bit. What's your take on Tampa and Kevin Cash? Thoughts there? Go ahead.
Well, I've been through it with them. If you remember in 2008, we went to the World Series after being pretty bad in 2007. And right up to the All-Star break, we lost 7 games in a row. We had a 7-game losing streak, 4 in a row in Cleveland. So you have to sit on 11 days going from the last time you had won a game. You go through your All-Star break, 4 days. I'm sitting in Naples, Florida. We come back after that, and all of a sudden we got well and played really well from that point on through August, and of course after that. So I just think you got to stay with it. Like you said, there's some things that have not worked out well for them injury-wise, whatever. But I mean, listen, they're going to play their game. They're going to come back and play in their game. They have a lot of self-confidence in their method, their philosophy, their style. So I've been through this. We actually had 2 7-game losing streaks in 2008 and ended up winning 90-some games and going to the World Series. So bear with them. I mean, they know what they're doing down there. It's sometimes you just get fatigued, tired, whatever. But I think this period between now and August 1st will tell you a lot.
All right, the Braves, in your eyes, are they by far and away the best team in the sport right now?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing with they're good, and they're playing with a lot of self-confidence, man. Everything's kind of clicking for them right now. They got everything they could possibly need or ask for. I don't need, and I'm sure Alex is going to probably attempt to augment that even further as it gets to the trade point of this thing. So yeah, they are that team. I mean, the way the Rays broke, and then of course the Rays and the Braves sound the same when you talk on television, but the Rays break and the Braves come back and play actually better than them. The other teams behind them, they're good. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on there, but they're not going to reach the level of the Braves this year. They are the best team in the sport.
Now, I agree right now. All right, Mets and Padres. Do you think any of these two teams right now, they're still under 500, and they're, 8, 7, 9 games back of the wild card, and the Mets aren't winning the division. Do you think the Mets and Padres still have a chance to make a second-half run?
They have a chance. I mean, it's very difficult to not play well, then all of a sudden play well just in the second half. I mean, if you had played relatively well in the first half, behind a little bit, there's a chance to, catch lightning in the bottle in the second half and eventually become really good. Their rosters indicate that they can do that. But when you have to make up that much ground, it's exhausting. It is exhausting, player-wise, organizationally. I've been being with the Rays. We were 18 games under 500 in the first half. Eventually got back to 500 and ran out of gas. So that's what you have to be mindful of. They have to play at such a high clip of not losing in the second half that it is exhausting. Bullpens could really get burned out because you only have certain guys you're going to trust in win situations. And again, to win that consistently that often without your best bullpen guys out there is difficult. So it's exhausting to try to catch up like that. Of course, they have a chance, but it's a difficult one.
100%. Joe Maddon doing a superb job. He knew he would. The Reds, fun, youthful, steal bases. Fans are into it, something different. We all like the Reds. This would be very interesting, and I think they need to, if they add some payroll, bring some pitchers in to tell the ball club down in the clubhouse, hey, we have your back. We appreciate what you've done. Let's go for it. How important in your eyes for the morale of the team, manager, players included, coaching staff, is it for the front office to edify by the deadline? Let me get your thoughts on that.
It's huge. I mean, there's so much talk within the clubhouse, whether people want to agree with this or not. When you bring in pieces at this time of the year, it really can buoy the spirits within the clubhouse. Now, having said that, it's also important to bring in guys that the guys in the clubhouse know is or are better than what we already have. So I've seen lateral moves made that could actually blow up a clubhouse where you bring somebody in and he's really not an uptick in regards to what we have already. Sometimes that could be detrimental. So whoever you bring in, that whole group's got to know this is better than what we have. And there's something that happened with the Angels back in the 90s with that made that very obvious to me. So bring up some guys that are obviously better. And yes, I thought that Cincinnati, to me, is the most fun and most interesting group to watch right now. I watch them almost every night. They're playing real baseball. They're playing athletic baseball. And a part of it is, of course, that they do need some kind of pitching help. There's no question about it. So augmenting that group right now could really be a difference maker.
100% with you there. The Orioles in the American League are fun, too. I thought they really salvaged the first half with those 2 wins at Yankee Stadium. They needed those to get the split, and then they buried Minnesota. So they ended the first half with a 5-game winning streak. They're even in the loss column with Tampa in the American League East. I mean, I'm not sure if they have enough pitching, but they got a lot of young players, and they got a good lineup, and he's a good manager. You know Hyde, Cubs, the whole bit. What does Baltimore have to do with Elias as their executive here in the next 3 weeks? Let me get your thoughts with them.
That's what I want to say. I want to see Baltimore versus Cincinnati. Hyder and I are really tight, as you know, and man, they're fun to watch. That's my other favorite team to watch. I know Arizona's another one. What do they have to do? You're 100% right. You got to pitch and play deep. You got to pitch it and catch it. The group on the field is outstanding. I love their team on the field. I love the way Hyder is working with them. I love the style of ball that they're playing. But to really be good, here comes September against the better teams in the latter part of the year. You got to pitch it. You got to catch it, I believe. Normally at that point, you're going to face really good pitching, and it's hard to just beat them up physically with the runs. So anything you could possibly do, if there's any shortcoming on defense, to at least to get somebody that could replace somebody in the latter part of the game defensively, I think that's always nice to have. But, of course, to be able to pitch it first, catch it, their team is really interesting. I like watching them a lot. I love the way Hyder just lets them play. Brandon is really sharp. Hyder doesn't say a whole lot, but believe me, he doesn't miss anything, and he's got a really, really sharp baseball mind.
Very good with Joe Maddon. All right, this is, you can make an argument here with these two teams. Which one do you think is more vulnerable of not making the playoffs, Houston or the Yankees?
I think the Yankees are more vulnerable, quite frankly. I mean, Houston has done it. How far is Alvarez away? I'm not even positive how far off he is, but Houston has this really incredible knack to pitch well. They'll bring up guys that you've never heard of before, and these guys pitch well. The team on the field is battle-tested. I like their veteran group down on the field right now. I think the way they play and the confidence that they have and the recent success really helps them a lot. The Yankees, again, they need to do some things. There's no question about that, possibly to augment their team too, and there's different things out there that they can do. But watching them offensively without Aaron, it's completely different. I like the Casey signing. I like the fact that the mayor's in there right now. I think more than anything, what they need to do is relax and just play the game of baseball. You watch them on TV. It's just an uptight approach to playing the game. Shaw's going to come in there and he's going to provide a different perspective on a daily basis. Those hitters don't need new philosophical methods in regards to how to hit. They need to relax and let their athleticism take over. And I believe he's going to bring that to the team. So I thought that was a really great move. And actually, I think that in and of itself is going to help them. But I still like Houston first.
Excellent job. One more, Joe. I love the pitch clock. I mean, there's been more stolen bases. I don't want the pitch. I do not want that pitch clock change for the postseason. That I don't want under any circumstances. Leave it alone. And it's helped the sport a lot. Stolen bases has helped the sport. You told me in the spring that you weren't so sure about the shift because it wouldn't change too much. But those three big rule changes. Let me get your thoughts here halfway through. Go ahead.
Pitch clock, outstanding. The pitch clock is absolutely important to the game. And of course, I never want to see that go away. I thought from the beginning that was the most important addition to the rule changes this year. Regarding the stolen bases, the big thing there is the fact that you can't throw over to first base with any kind of regularity or do different things. That is more impactful, I think, than the base size itself. And then furthermore, just front offices permitting this to occur. It is an absolute throwback, interesting way of playing the game, a more aggressive method where I really believe the fans are into it. So yes, the pitch clock is absolutely number one for me. Number two is the stolen base, and the stolen base is being encouraged by the fact, more so than the size of the base, the fact that you cannot throw over as often. And with that, it has received the blessing from front offices to go ahead and run, because a part of the problem in the past was the fact that you were not permitted to run without any kind of reprimand if it was not successful. The shift itself, I'm sure there's some uptick with that, but there are some guys that you look at their numbers, they're still pretty much the same, because a power hitting left-handed hitter is really not changing his methods a whole lot. He might get lucky on a rollover ground ball, but if he's a three outcome guy, walk, strikeout, or homer, he's still going to be that guy.
And at the end of the day, Ohtani is an angel for the rest of the year, yes or no?
I'd say yes. I have to agree with you. From my experience there, even though I, like I said before, I would evaluate it come August 1st, exactly as we get to that where we're at. But knowing that Artie in that group out there, I find it really difficult to believe that he would concede to trading him at this particular juncture. I don't think he or they want to be known as the guides. Again, draw your similarities to Babe Ruth back in the day, being traded from Boston to New York. Yeah, I mean, you want to keep, you want to hold on to him, even at the expense of not making less than a good baseball decision. You're still going to hold on to him because of all the ancillary reasons.
Excellent job, Joe. We will keep in touch. You'll get back in the game here, too, as a skipper. I promise you that. Thanks for a few minutes.
All right, brother. Great to see you again, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it.